Welcome everyone to Stafford Speedway, another beautiful Friday night as we prepare for Maybury Material Handling Back to SKool Kids Night, which features big wheel races and double SK Light 20-lap features. So this pit preview starts in the SK Light modified pits, where Kyle's standing by with a driver who's gone through a roller coaster in the last 2 weeks.
Bonza, Amanda West has experienced the highs and lows of this sport here at the Stafford Speedway over the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks picking up the win. Last week, finishing 14th and in a backup car after a rough qualifying heat race. First off, let's go back 2 weeks. How special was that moment in Napa Victory Lane here in the SK Lights?
It was definitely special, something we've been waiting for a long time. Glad it finally came, and you know, it definitely feels like a big weight lifted off my shoulder. A lot less pressure, and you know, to round out the end of the season, and yeah, it was good, but obviously the next week we didn't have a great week at all, and that just definitely proves the highs of highs and the lows of this sport. I mean,
and there were a lot of people that were unaware that you actually had to go to a backup car after the heat race incident off of turn number 2. What was that transition period like, trying to get that second car first here and then ready?
I mean, the good thing is that McKinney Construction is right down the street, so the car is already loaded up on the flatbed, so he just had to go down and grab it. So I finished the rest of the race, finished watching the race in the infield, walked off the backstretch, and came back here, and my backup car was already sitting, you know, being unloaded to our pit stall. So, yeah, it was definitely. It was nerve-wracking, you know, because we just came off of a good finish. You know, we know our car's good, and get junked in the heat, and then you don't really have any, you know, no practice in that car or anything. So you don't really know what you have, and we just threw it on the track. I mean, we didn't really do much to it, so could have used a round of practice to figure out what it had, but. Overall, I think it was a good night. I mean, we started 31st and, you know, moved up to 14th. So I think it could have been worse with a wreck in the heat and a wreck in the feature, so I'll take it.
How would you kind of summarize the season as a whole? Still top 5 in the championship standings heading into the final few events of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to pay attention to it because it's definitely something that's, I don't know. It's definitely in the back of your mind, but I don't know, last week we kind of took a little bit of a hit. We were tied for 3rd, and now we're a little bit out of 4th, or a little bit, you know, in 4th, a little bit out of 3rd. So I just hope that we can keep having some consistent finishes, you know, consistent top 5s, top 10s, and hopefully get a top 3 in the point standings. That would be the goal.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
It's Amanda West looking for her second career win in the last 3 weeks here at the Stafford Motor Speedway. Later on this evening in the SK Light feature, she talked about consistency. Let's hear now from Bonza with the most consistent driver in the field right now in that division.
After an up and down start to the year, Kyle, Meg Fuller and the 2 team have really hit their stride and stayed out of trouble. I hope I don't jinx you saying that, but 5 straight top 10 finishes. The last time we ran 2 features, you got top 5s in both of them, but how has the car been the last few weeks? Because even though you've gotten good finishes, you haven't been 100% satisfied.
I do hear that you're pretty good at jinxing people, but I'm hoping that's not the case. However, honestly, the car hasn't been handling exactly how we want it to, but we've been able to stay pretty consistent, and Keith and my dad have always taught me how to readjust the car on the track to get it to run as best as we can with what we've got. So.
Now, what has changed in the last 2 months for you to find that consistency, kind of like last year?
Honestly, I think it's just luck. We had some pretty bad luck in the beginning part of the year and just couldn't seem to finish a race or get a good finish, and we were either podium or wrecked out. So I'm hoping to keep up the good finishes.
Now, you like to take it a little more easy on the track, but for 2 features, do you have to be even more conservative in the first feature, or do you just drive the way you normally drive?
I mean, after the last time that we had double features on the same night, I think we got 2 top 5 finishes. I think it honestly just depends how everybody else drives. I usually drive the same people with the same respect, so I just hope we make it through the first one tonight.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
That's Megan Fuller looking for another top 10 finish. She hasn't won yet this season, but she has come close with a second place run so far in 2024. Now we're going to go to the SK Modifieds, where Kyle's standing by with a driver who's coming off back-to-back podiums.
Corey DiMatteo's coming off a second place run a week ago, has moved up into second in the championship standings. And I guess if it's a good time to get hot, now would be a good time after your 3 in a row in May, kind of cooled off a little bit. How would you kind of summarize the last couple of weeks here behind the wheel of this 11 car?
It's been good. I mean, luck's been on our side for sure the past couple of weeks. We kind of got complacent and not wanting to change what we had because we were so successful at the beginning of the year. But last week and the week before, we were taking swings at it right before the race and just writing down what we think we need to do and making a good guess for the future. And so far, it's paid off, and we're going to continue to make it better. We're not just going to be satisfied with being a fifth-place car or a third-place car. We want to get it back to how it was, so that's our goal.
Which is in victory lane 3 times in a row back in the month of May. How much do you look at the points, though? I know we're starting to talk about it more on the media side. How about drivers? Do you guys look at that week to week this time of year?
I mean, yeah, it's in the back of your mind, but I told John, the car owner, at the beginning of the year, I'd really love to win 5 races in a season, so that's the ultimate goal. He actually gave me a stat yesterday at the shop that in the past 3 years we're the winningest team in SK Modifieds at Stafford. I didn't know that, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I just want to continue to widen that gap, and if we do that, the points will come with it.
How do you think the track's going to change tonight? We've had a lot of hot, slick nights here the last couple months, but 60 degrees when we rolled in this morning, and it's going to get cool here later this evening.
Yeah, last night was pretty cool. We were all in sweatshirts at the end of the night. I think it'll be similar to last week. It's going to turn better. We're going to have to lock the back of the car down a little bit, keep the drive in it, and I would rather be too tight than too loose. So if you see me not sideways, we should have a pretty good car.
Good luck here later tonight.
Thank you.
That's Corey DiMatteo, currently second in the championship standings here for the SK Modifieds. Now let's hear from another driver coming off a great top 5 effort from a week ago with Bonzo.
For the first time this season, Tyler Hines found himself in the top 5 in the SK Modifieds after finishing 5th, that after leading some laps. How big was that for you and the team after all you've been through this year to finally get in the top 5 and be up front throughout the 40-lap feature?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, everybody works so hard. We obviously midway through the season decided that we were going to bring out a different car, and that was a lot of work to get it all ready, so we had to take a week off to swap everything over. So it's nice to see the effort pay off. We've had moments where we've been really fast earlier in the season and just for one reason or another couldn't get up to the front. So it was nice to run up front and see the hard work pay off.
Why don't you tell us the background of this car, because we've seen you in it before. What is this car? When have you raced this car? When did you get this car?
Yeah, so we had this car. This was the old 58 that we raced 3 seasons ago now. My uncle owns the car. We basically swapped over with the pull-in motor and then all that. So, it just really needed to be gone through and put back together. It was sitting all apart in the shop. So, we've raced it here before. We know it's fast. I know what it takes to make this car go around. So, yeah.
What was the handling like on the car last week during that 40-lap run, especially with all those restarts?
Yeah, I mean, we were really good. I definitely didn't want to see any cautions at all, especially after I got out front early on and started to pull away. I think the car is really good. The lap times definitely showed it. If we could have had it gone green, I think I would have been able to stretch out and kind of been in the clean air and run away. A couple restarts and some not great starts on my part, and one thing or another, I lost the lead. And it's tough when you're up front like that. If you're not like perfect or in the preferred groove, everyone's so close that it's so hard to gain those spots back. So I'm a little disappointed in myself that I lost the lead. But I'll fix it and we won't do it again next time. That's all.
Well, the confidence has gone up since last week, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It kind of restores that, like, all right, we know what we're doing. We just got to be there and be in the right position and make sure we do everything right, get in the car ready, and make the right adjustments for the future.
Have fun tonight.
Thank you, appreciate it.
That's Tyler Hines. Remember, he is a 3-time SK Modified winner at Stafford, so he knows how to get it done. A bit of a rough patch, but he came back with a top 5 last Friday night. Now we're going to go to the late model pits, where Kyle's standing by with one of our drivers who finished runner-up in one of 2 features.
Bonza Tom Butler's been winning races here at the Stafford Motor Speedway since 1993 here in the late model division. His latest win came a year ago, and you darn near got one last week with a second place finish part of Twin Feature Night for this division. How would you kind of summarize, first off, last week's double features for you guys?
It was a blast actually finishing second. I mean, I felt bad that I couldn't pull it off for the guys, but a couple of things happened during the race. But if I was going to lose, I'm going to lose to one of the Saunders boys. They worked 6-7 years with me, and they kind of learned a lot of stuff from working with us. So I would have been upset if he didn't pass me because I know he was faster. So yeah, we're excited with that. We're a little off in the second feature, but a top 10 is a top 10. So.
I say a pair of top 10s last week. How would you kind of summarize your year here as we get toward the final quarter of the year?
Well, it's going back and forth. I think we should have had a couple of wins by now, actually, but something with the car. Not really sure. It's an old car. This is the first Andy Johnson car that was built. So we bought this at the car show at Eastern States, and so it's 2009. So I'm racing some new stuff compared to what I got now.
What is it about this division that you like and has kept you here now for what, 30 years?
Yeah, a little more than 30.
A little more than 30. Well, just for the late models, I'm dating since that first win.
I don't know. I just enjoy being here. I enjoy driving. And with the guys, even the guys you get in a tussle with on the track, they're still my friends. They come down here. We're all friends. It's like I grew up in the times where if you're gonna maybe throw a couple punches, you're out back later, drinking beer, and I think you have to look at the big picture. Certain things do happen. Some's your own doing, some it's the other guy's doing. But yeah, I just like being here. I mean, we got a great facility to race at. I mean, the routes are great. So,
good luck here later tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We're gonna try to get one tonight. We'll put it that way.
That first win of the 2024 season and 27th in this division is Tom Butler. Now let's hear from another driver that was on the podium a week ago in the limited late model division with Monza.
For his first full season back at Stafford in a bit, RJ Sodell's been pretty solid in the limited late models. You're coming off back-to-back podium runs, and you talked in the past about how you've been on old tires in the process. So how has the car been the last couple of weeks, and what more do you think you need to get a couple spots better?
The car's been really good. Me and Rob Russell, we've been adjusting on the car with the older tires. Basically, I've just been replacing it pretty much when they're pretty much gone. And so we used the right rear for about 4 to 5 weeks, and it was pretty horrible, but we were still able to finish good. And, to stay up in the top 5 and, reach podiums is even better. To me, finishing third is like a win on these tires. But we got some new tires on last week, and it kind of hurt us a little bit. It made us a little free, and I thought we were going to pick up time. We lost a little time, but we figured it out. And then we put it up on the scale pads, realized there was, a couple of issues that we had to figure it out. But, we got it going, and now with the new set of tires, and I'm about to go buy another one because someone else bought me one, which is great. Really got to thank Scott and my dad. They're the ones helping me out right now. So, but, doing that, we've been finished up on the podium, so I can't complain about that.
Can you explain to us, in a limited late model, how different a car drives when it has a new set of sticker tires compared to maybe a couple week-old tires?
The front end actually grips and turns. It doesn't slide, so I don't have to, right now with the old tires, I'd have to predict when it would slide and then, when it would slide and pick up the throttle and not aggravate the tire even more. So, but with the new tires, I can actually get on it, but it kind of hurt us because it gripped more and it made the car free. So we'll figure it out.
So this year, you had your expectations at the beginning of the year. How have you felt about the season overall? Have you been surprised, for lack of a better term, at how solid it has been all year long, considering you hadn't raced these cars in the bid, or is this exactly what you were looking for?
Actually, we have reached all the goals I have set this year. We got a win. We're running up front. We're top 3 in times, top 5 sometimes, but we're always finishing up in the top 5. I mean, I don't have too many non-top 5 finishes. I only have 2 DNFs, so I have to say this year has been impressive for me, to come out, get a win, and then get a bunch of podiums. I mean, I think I got 6 podiums so far, and we're not going to stop.
Weather's getting cooler. What are you expecting now in the last 5 events of the year?
I expect the track to pick up speed. We were fast in the beginning of the year when I did have tires on, and then because after the 30-lapper we didn't buy any tires, so we were running on our 30-lap run old tires for a little bit there. But so man, come back to coldness, and it's going to give us a little bit more speed. I was fast in the cold. A lot of people fall off, so hopefully it comes to my advantage.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
That's RJ Sodell looking for 3 podiums in a row, maybe his 2nd win of the year in the limited late models. It's time to go racing. It's Maybury Material Handling Back to SKool Kids Night, and Ben Dodge is on the call for all the action.
Well, thank you very much, Bonza, and welcome to each and every one of you. It's a big night here at the Half Mile, and as Bonza had mentioned, it's Maybury Back to School Kids Night. A lot of festivities designed around the kids, all taking place on the Midway, and of course will be taking place with the traditional 2 feature events. The kids' big wheel race on the front straightaway here at the Half Mile. But that's not the only stories. We've got a banner field of cars assembled in the paddock area. Tonight's presentation is brought to you by the good folks from Maybury Material Handling. For nearly 50 years, Maybury Material Handling has been designing, supplying, and servicing a wide variety of material handling equipment throughout New England. Maybury provides its customers with a wide range of industry solutions that move, lift, and of course are a major part of the workplace. For more information, give them a call or check them out at maybury.com. Kyle Rickey is alongside here from Broadcast Central. We've been studying the competition, and as we go into the final events of the 2024 season, one thing that every competitor in the paddock area has in common, they want to finish high in the point standings. For some, their goal might have been a top 10. For some, a top 5. And for others, it's to win a prestigious championship at this half mile. Kyle, you talked to Tom Butler earlier in the pit area. I think he summed it up best. The competition is different today, but he still has that drive, and most competitors do, and we're in for a treat tonight. Cool weather, you know what that means? Fast
indeed, and that's also one of the stories in the pits earlier today is how this track is changing and evolving as we get toward the end of summer and into the hard to believe the fall months. But they said on the news today this is a top 10 day, and I disagree. This is like a top 3 day. A fantastic day, little humidity, temperatures right in the mid 70s, and it's going to get cool as you mentioned here later this evening, and that could change things up for feature competition once the sun sets here in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. So track safety personnel getting into place, championship point races for the most part, and at least 4 of our divisions really tightened up a week ago, and I can't believe we're almost into September. Those point battles, everybody's got their eyes on them a little closer, watching those numbers tally as we get toward Napa Championship Night here in just over a month.
You are so correct in saying all of that. We've got some special dignitaries as part of Maybury Material Handling Night, Cute Kids Back to School Night.
We got Boomer down here.
There he is. Look at Boomer. Hello, Boomer. There's our mascot for tonight's event, Boomer.
Springfield Thunderbirds.
Oh, yes, and he is pumped and ready for tonight's presentation for young and old alike.
Boomer, turn around. You'll see yourself on the big screen.
Yes, and look at that, Boomer. Boomer's big 00 on the back of his shirt. He is ready. Going for it, Boomer. And as we said, a lot of great things going on. We want to remind you that all the events here in 2024 are brought to you by your local Napa Auto Parts store, where Napa Get Up and Go is more than a phrase, and Napa Auto Care is available at your local Napa stores. Look for the blue, gold, and white for your local Napa dealers. And, of course, the safety crew with vehicles provided by Monaco Ford. Over 100 years in Glastonbury, Connecticut, and, of course, their newest location in Niantic, Connecticut. If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, it's Monaco Ford. Head on down and see Mike, his sister, Dave, or any of the staff there. They'll be more than glad to help you out and get you that car of your choice. Whether it is new or used, it is guaranteed to be among the best in value. And, of course, we are honored, and up on the big screen tells it all, Maybury crowned since 1976. Welcome to Stafford Speedway. Later in tonight's program, Kyle, we have a parade of equipment and all the headliners, including those famed Maybury vintage race cars that are going to be a part of it, and a tribute as they are picking up and sponsoring some additional cars tonight, like the number 24 car
of Mikey Flynn, who we'll see in the SK Modifieds here in a little bit. You can learn more about Maybury Material Handling on the Midway, along with the Springfield Thunderbirds. They both have displays set up behind the grandstands, just coming off of Turn 4. A lot of the Kids Night activities down there as well. I know all the youngsters get an opportunity to spin the wheel and get some back-to-school gifts from the folks at Maybury. As we are set to go, qualifying about to get underway. Division number 1, the street stocks, and heat race number 1 on the racetrack, Ben.
Sure is. Starting in position number 1 is car number 71. That's the Rico's Pizza, LaJoy's Auto Wrecking. Number 71 from Stamford, Connecticut, Marvin Minkler.
Outside of the front row, car 15 from Ware, Massachusetts, the Dustbusters duck cleaning entry for Sean Petlock.
Row number 2 to the inside, the Barn Package Store, number 49 from Somers, Connecticut, Jason Raymond.
4th starter, car number 84 from Ellington, Connecticut, the American Sign entry for Burt Willett.
In the 5th starting spot, he's one of the guys to watch, the JHS Restoration car from East Hartford, Connecticut, car number 80 for Tyler Trott.
6th starter outside row 3, winningest driver in this division, car number 11 from Woodbury, Connecticut, the Haidar Construction Chevrolet for Travis Haidar.
Let's take a look at row number 4 to the inside, starting position number 7. Charlie's Towing is the sponsor from Stafford Springs, Connecticut, the 13 of Matt Martell.
And his outside, starting in 8th, car number 23 from Wallingford, Connecticut, the Connecticut Compressor Systems entry for Alex Spinato.
Let's take a look at the 9th starter. It carries the sponsorship of Maybury Material Handling. Beaver Camper Services among the sponsors from Agawam, Mass. Car number 01 for Johnny Walker.
And round out the top 10, car number 22 from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, driving the rent-a-race car entry, that's Adam Huff.
And starting scratch, car number 66 from Cheshire, Connecticut, the Pro Coat Paint Machine. Another rent-a-race car machine. The driver is Dan Janis. That is your starting lineup. The story is 5 laps, and it will be 7 cars to make that transition.
Championship battle's been fun to watch in this division over the last couple of months. Tyler Trott, the championship leader, coming into tonight by 6 points over last week's feature winner, Travis Downey. Jason Lafayette, 14 back. Travis Haidar, 24 back. Jeff Aslan and Jason Lafayette all within 44 points of each other. And with a potential of 50 points on the line every race, there's a potential swing for a lot of different drivers if they have a bad night or if they have a good night. We've seen that a lot in the last couple of weeks.
We sure have. Linda Corliss has just informed us here at Broadcast Central that any youngsters that still wish to sign up for the Kids Big Wheel Race, they may do so by going to the Speedway Collectibles booth behind turn number 4. Here they come off turn number 4, rumbling down to the line. Out in front, Marvin Minkler. We've seen him do this week after week. He gets off to a great start once again. Starts to pull away, but here comes the heavy hitters, Kyle. And already in the direction of heading forward comes Tyler Trott with car number 80.
Trott in the 3rd spot, looking for 2nd on Raymond. All of that a few car lengths behind Marvin Minkler to complete lap number 1. The 71 leads the field back to turn number 1. Battle for 2nd is side by side, but it doesn't last. Trott takes the spot away. Door remains open for Travis Haidar, who is up to 3rd.
Travis Haidar comes to the front with a passion to get there and get there quickly. The purple and yellow machine, number 11, moves to the inside. It is Tyler Trott still holding on for 2nd. Trott dives to the bottom. Minkler is still the man in command. Here comes the 11, Travis Haidar, respected as one of the top 4 cars in this division in 2024.
8-time winner, looking for number 9 tonight. Had to settle for 2nd a week ago to Travis Downey, the race winner, as the field gets the 2 to go signal. Marvin Minkler looking for some good luck in feature competition. Looks good here in this qualifying heat race as they move around the rent-a-race cars off of turn 2 and up the backstretch. It's Minkler by a car length, but here comes Trott, and here comes Haidar, 2nd and 3rd right there, hot on the hip of Marvin Minkler.
1 circuit remains, and Marvin Minkler has done a masterful job. He looks racy right from the get-go. Meanwhile, Tyler Trott has reeled him in. There is less than 2 turns remaining. Minkler still in command. Meanwhile, Travis Haidar is right there. Here comes Tyler Trott. Minkler can feel the heat of the radiator as they come off turn number 4.
Checkered flag is up this time by, and it's going to be Marvin Minkler by a half a car length to pick up the win over Tyler Trott in 2nd, Travis Haidar in 3rd, Jason Raymond in 4th. and Burt Willett rounding out the top 5.
And finishing just out of the preferred handicap, Sean Penlock will finish in 6th. Johnny Walker in the Maybury car will be 7th. Matt Martell will finish in 8th. Alex Bonata will finish in 9th. Adam Huff will finish 10th. And Dan Janis will round out the top 11.
So heat race number 1 in the books. Heat race number 2 about to take to the racetrack. Another 11 cars looking to go green here for the street stock competitors. And starting on the pole here in heat race number 2 will be car number 69 from Belchertown, Massachusetts, the Roy's Auto Service Vanished Valley Brewing entry. The pole sitter is Bill Cody.
Outside row number 1, it's the Tech Roofing SK Property Maintenance Machine from Chicopee, Massachusetts. Car 55 for Brandon Warren.
Car number 7 will go to the inside of row 2 from Granby, Massachusetts, the Safeco Foam Dryer Vent Cleaning Company entry for Jeff Haslin.
Moving to the outside will be car number 21, Tri-State Equipment Repair from Somers, Connecticut, Jason Lafayette.
5th starter, car number 42 from Barkhamsted, Connecticut, the PJ Ladola and Sons Electrical Contractors entry. Last week's winner, Travis Downey.
Starting 6th will be car number 94, the Rent a Race car from Goshen, Connecticut for Chris Danielchuk.
7th starter, car number 2 from Griswold, Connecticut, the Planchen Management Solutions car for Ashton Young.
8th starter will be the unique Wraps and Glass Machine from Enfield, Connecticut, Garrett Pease, car number 51.
Car number 27, hailing from Pennsylvania, the Terp Warehousing sponsored car for Andreas Bogie.
And car number 56 will be outside in the 10th starting spot. The Riley's Tree and Landscaping car from Walcott, Connecticut for Sean Riley.
And rounding out the field, car number 6 from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, the Vidane TV sponsored car for Kevin Vincent.
So there you have it. This is round number 2 in Maybury Back to School Kids Night. A lot going on for the youngsters on the midway. Next to the novelty booth where you can sign up for the kids' big wheel race, and of course several other locations. Maybury's impressive display is set up by the entrance where you purchase your tickets coming in to the main grandstand area. On the starter stand for tonight's presentation is, of course, Mike Helberg. Craig Merriman joining him alongside. Danny Roshko is our official pace car driver as he leads the field down into turn number 3 with lights atop the pace car from Wheelan Engineering. First name in light, sirens, and safety services used throughout the world. Wheelan Engineering.
Bill Cody to bring the field off of turn number 4, heat race number 2 for the street stocks. 5 laps of distance. Green flag is up, and it's going to be Cody and Brandon Warren side by side into turn number 1 for the first time. Jeff Haslin's been good as of late. Several podium runs in car number 7 in feature competition, trying to take that second spot away up the back straightaway for the first time.
Keep your eyes on Travis Downey, hot after the success of a victory 1 week ago. Downey starts to thread the needle. He's up to the 4th spot, and he's not done yet. Aslin tries to plant it in deep, but the leader of the pack still remains Bill Cody. Cody is in command. Here comes Aslin. Travis Downey nipping at their heels down the back straightaway and side-by-side race with Jason Lafayette.
Lafayette in the inside of the racetrack to the inside of Cody. Battle for the lead further up. Downey gets a great run off of turn number 4 on Jeff Aslin in car number 7 for the top spot. Aslin top side. Downey to the bottom, just in front of Lafayette in the 21 and 3rd.
There's no question about it. Travis Downey has again brought his A game here to Stafford. He'll run to the front of the field. Meanwhile, Lafayette has worked his magic, moved into 2nd. That will bump the number 7 car back to the 3rd position. Jeff Aslin setting there. Brandon Warren has come back to life. He's in position number 4. Single file, they head down the back straightaway.
They have singled out. Top 4 been able to break away. Pace setter early on. Bill Cody has fallen to position number 5 and into the clutches of Chris Danielchuk just outside of the front 5 in 6. White flag is up, 1 to go. Travis Downey looking to pick off right where he left off from a week ago in car number 42, and that is at the front of the field.
He is good at doing just that. He leads them into turn number 3 for the final time. Deep into turn 4. Travis Downey has the field covered. Picks up where he left off. Kyle points out, and he does. Travis Downey will take down the win. Jason Lafayette for 2nd. Jeff Aslin to finish in 3rd. Brandon Warren for 4th, and Bill Cody to round out the 5th and final transfer for the handicap.
Chris Danielchuk finished in the 6th spot as the 51 spun on the final corner of the final lap for Garrett Pease. So it'll be Cody in 5th, Danielchuk in 6th, Ashton Young 7th, Sean Riley in 8th, Andreas Bogie in 9th, and Garrett Pease not crossing the line. In fact, still over in turn 4 to finish in 10th.
So there you have it. Our books will show that the street stock qualifiers are now all but history. The limited late model division is coming up next. The story is going to be 8 laps, 6 cars to transfer to make the transition to the main event for these, the limited late models. Story in this division, and we've seen some impressive runs here as well.
And they're going to head on to the racetrack here in just a moment. Charlotte Breck, please report to the press box behind the start-finish line. Charlotte Breck, please report to the press box behind the start-finish line.
Well, as they come onto the racetrack, car number 9 will be starting at the point. The ARI spray foam machine from Canton, Connecticut, had a good run a week ago. Connor Jensick.
And on the outside of the front row here in this first qualifying event, current point leader, car number 59 from Wethersfield, Connecticut, the Utility Services New England car for Matt Clement.
Let's take a look at row number 2, car number 74, the Bears Cleaning Service machine from Springfield, Vermont. It is Matt Winters II.
The 83 will go to the outside of that row from Wellington, Connecticut, the Rob Russell chassis car for R.J. Surdell.
5th starter will be car number 14. That's the Gendon Auto Parts Demented FX Haunted House machine from Agawam, Massachusetts. Car 14, Kevin Cormier.
6th starter, car number 6, last week's feature winner, first of the season for this driver from Windsor Locks, Connecticut, the LNS equipment car for the defending champion, Jeremy Lavoie.
Let's take a look at the 7th starter, car number 07 from Holland, Massachusetts, the LeBeau rubbish removal car for Trinity Provost.
8th starter, car number 18 from Wethersfield, Connecticut, the Utility Services New England car for Scott Clement.
Starting 9th in the field, the DMW graphics machine from Durham, Connecticut for Shelby Swan, car number 44. 6 is the transfer to the handicap. That's where you need to be and where you'll want to be to start in this evening's main event. Now remember, we have double feature events for our SK Light division. So feature number 1 will kick off first in tonight's feature program, and they will close out the evening with their second and final feature event. One of these, of course, is a makeup event from the night that Mother Nature wasn't as kind as Mother Nature is for tonight's program. Get ready to get him fired back up. Here's Kyle Rickey with the call.
Here comes Connor Jensick off of turn number 4. We'll bring the field to the green flag, and there it is. Feature 1 for the limited late models is underway. Jensick and Clement. That's Matt Clement, car number 59 to the outside, looking for the top spot. Surdell and Cormier, a feature winner here just a couple of weeks ago, battling for position number 2.
Well, all that is happening. Lavoie is setting in the 5th spot. Remember, he was in victory lane just 1 week ago. Jensick leads him back off turn number 4 to the stripe. Bump drafting like they're racing at New Hampshire. Here comes Clement. Black car to the inside of the white and red number 9 car. They come off the turn, out in front. Jensick still maintains the lead. Kyle, here comes Clement.
Clement gets a good run to the inside and has plenty of room to the bottom of the racetrack off of turn number 4 on Connor Jensick, who will lead lap number 2, but only by about 6 inches. Clement, by the time they get to turn number 1, will assume command of this qualifying event. Jensick back to 2nd, Surdell in 3rd, Lavoie in 4th, Cormier in 5th.
What a great run that Matt Clement got off the turn to get down the back straightaway. Here comes R.J. Surdell. Remember, he talked about tires in the pre-race interview, how important new tires are and what they make the car do and how it makes it turn. He's setting in the 3rd spot, glued to the back bumper of Connor Jensick, and there is Lavoie, still waiting for that opportunity, and moving in is Kevin Cormier with car number 14.
Saw the blue 18 of Scott Clement go around a lap ago. He falls to the tail end of the field in 9th and remains rolling on the racetrack on the lead lap, about a straightaway in front of Matt Clement, who just set the fastest lap of the event last time by and is able to break away by a few car lengths from Connor Jensick in 2nd. Great racing from 3rd on back with Surdell, Lavoie, and Cormier.
There's no question about it. Surdell has had a great 2024 season. He's looking to close it with victories, but Lavoie is hot after a win, and he understands exactly exactly where he needs to finish. That is among the top 6 cars. Currently setting in the 4th position. This time by Clement out in front. 2 laps to go.
And he continues to pull away now by 0.7 of a second at the front of the field over Connor Jensick in the 2nd spot. In turn, Jensick has been able to put a bit of a gap between himself and this ongoing race for 3rd between the 83 of Serdell, the 6 of Lavoie, and the 14 of Cormier coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go for the point leader, Matt Clement.
Less than a half a mile, it's all going to be history. Matt Clement has been struggling the last few weeks. Tonight, he looks racy and he looks fast. He clicked off 3 of the fastest laps in this qualifying event. This time, he heads off turn number 4. Checkered flag is in the air. Matt Clement will take down the impressive victory. Finishing in 2nd, Connor Jensick with the number 9 car. R.J. Serdell holds on for 3rd. Jeremy Lavoie for 4th. And Kevin Cormier to round out the top 5. 6th and final transfer will be Matt Winters with car 74.
And just missing the handicap in this qualifying heat race, Trinity Provost in the 07, Shelby Swan in the 44, and the 18 of Scott Clement.
So, round number 1 is all but history. 2nd qualifying event for the limited late models coming onto the racetrack. We just received our usual Friday night text. Woody Pitcat is heading to Oswego to compete on the Wheel and Modified Tour and wants to say hello to his Stafford friends and family, along with JJ as they are in transport there. And speaking of transport, here's Kyle Rickey to transport the starting lineup for round number 2.
Heat race number 2 on the racetrack. Car number 24 will lead the field to the green flag from Three Rivers, Massachusetts. The J.P. McCarthy and Sons WGF building car for Kyle Terrio.
Moving to the outside, another former champion, the Wheelers Auto Parts Napa car. That, of course, is car number 28 from Tallinn, Connecticut for Rich Hammond.
3rd starter, car 23 from Canton, Connecticut. The Genco Construction entry for Devin Jensick.
Starting 4th will be car number 22, the Dunning Industries car from New Hartford, Connecticut for Gary Patno.
5th starter, car number 19 from Plainville, Connecticut. The CSB Communications car for Adrian Paradise III.
And then we go to the SRD Motorsports Mertz Racing Enterprises, number 82. From Pasco, Rhode Island, it is Samantha Dell.
7th starter, car number 5 from Wellington, Connecticut. The DKV Motorsports Mojo Cafe car for Daryl Furtife.
In the 8th starting spot is car number 42, the Daddy-O's Honey Machine from Northford, Connecticut for Dana Ray.
And rounding out the fields in car number 80 from Naugatuck, Connecticut, the Tri-State Elevator and Hoist LLC car for Cindy Sturk.
Well, the cross flags are being given from the starter stand as we're about ready to get them fired back up. This is the 2nd and final qualifying round. Again, the story is 8 laps and 6 cars to make that transfer. Those of you youngsters, if you haven't already done so, check out things atop the midway area at the Souvenir and Novelty booth, and directly to the right and the left of that. There's a lot going on there, and remember, it's not too late if you wish to sign up for the kids' big wheel race, but it is going to be closing fast, so do it right away, please. And again, all of this is brought to you by Maybury, the good folks for Maybury Back to School Kids Night. Here's Kyle Rickey with round number 2.
Here they come off of turn number 4. Green flag is up for another 8 laps for the limited late models. Kyle Terrio, that blue and yellow numeral number 24 to bring the field into turn number 1 for the first time. Former champion Rich Hammond staying right with him in that outside lane. Now slips up just a bit off of turn 2 and will give up the 2nd spot to Devin Jensick.
While Devin Jensick moves into 2nd, the guy that's right there behind him is another feature event winner, Gary Patno, trying to thread the needle through traffic. Hammond goes to the outside, black number 28 with yellow numbers. Moves into 3rd, but here comes Patno. They are almost side by side off the turn. Patno gets a nice run for it. Adrian Paradis solidly in the 5th spot. All of a sudden, he makes a bull move up the hill, tries to do a crossover on Patnode, but Patnode will shake him off.
That's the race from 4th on back. Patnode has that position, car 22, Paradise in the 19, and then Daryl Furtife. Further up, battle for the lead, tightening up just a bit. Devin Jensick, 2nd in points coming into tonight. Was 2 car lengths back, now 1 behind race leader Kyle Terrio as they come around to complete lap number 3.
Kyle Terrio doing a masterful job. He has improved each and every night this season. He sets a blistering pace at the point. Meanwhile, Rich Hammond trying to close up the gap. This time from the starter's stand, 2 flags crossed in an X, which means we are halfway down. 3 cars have strung it out at the point. Then there's a gap, but Patnode is closing up that gap. Paradis is right there, and Vertiflay is right behind them.
Patnode in the 4th spot, trying to reel in Rich Hammond. At the same time, Hammond has about 3 or so car lengths between himself and the race leaders, Kyle Terrio and Devin Jensick in the 2nd spot. Hammond right there in 3rd. Patnode a bit out of shape, way out of shape in 4th, and he's going to lose a spot, maybe 2, with that 22 car.
There's no question about it. Patnode pulled off the skill move of this event. He had the car in a 4-wheel drift. It was headed towards the wall. He gathered it back, lost some positions. Something has went awry in car number 22. But off the turn this time, when they come back to the stripe, 2 laps to go, 1 mile left in the competition. Therio still the leader. Jensick moving in. Hammond right there. Same distance between 1st and 2nd, and 2nd and 3rd. Then there's a big gap, but Paradis is in the comfort zone in 4th.
Vertifay in the 5th spot. Checkered flag. Make that the white flag. This time off of turn number 4 for Kyle Terrio. 1 lap to go. Jensick beginning to run out of time in that 2nd spot in car number 23. Hammond the same in 3rd as everybody stays in line up the back straightaway. It'll be the checkered, this time off turn 4.
There's no question about it. It's come down to this. Deep into turn number 3, off the turn. Black and white about to wave. Kyle Therio will take down an impressive victory. Devin Jensick showing muscle will finish in 2nd. Rich Hammond to finish in 3rd. Adrian Paradis for 4th. Darrell Vertiflay will round out the top 5, and Gary Patnode does a nice recovery to finish in the 6th position.
Samantha Dell in 7th, Dana Ray in 8th to round out the 8 cars. That took the green flag in heat race number 2 for the limited late models. Those teams will head back to the pit area and prepare for their feature event coming up here later on this evening.
And now we move to our late model division. We'll be featuring 2 qualifying events for the late model division as these cars will exit back to the paddock area. Another group will come out, and car number 07 will lead the way. Chris Buffoni out of Belchertown, Mass. The Tom O'Sullivan welding machine will start at the point.
Outside of the front row, winningest driver in this division, car number 92 from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, the King Ray Coach Lines car for Tom Fern.
Here's a mover and shaker to keep your eyes on. The Mayday oil machine from North Franklin, Connecticut, car number 87 for Chris Meyer.
Outside of row number 2, another former multi-time champion here at the racetrack, car 97 from Granby, Massachusetts, the Meadows Motor Cars entry for Adam Gray.
Let's take a look at row number 3. Starting position number 5 goes to car number 9. Bobby Stirk III out of Naugatuck, Connecticut, driving the A6A Associates Tri-State Elevators machine.
6 starter, a recent feature winner here just a couple of weeks ago from Enfield, Connecticut, the Jarmark Farm Big Kahuna racing car for Daryl Keene.
And then we go to starting position number 7. It is car number 00. That, of course, is Scott Foster driving the Northeastern sheet metal car.
And to round out the 8-car field, car 33 from Barkhamsted, Connecticut, the AVI Incorporated entry for Aiden Burrell.
So the field tightens up, and we are ready to get things fired back up again. It appears that we are missing a car, and I believe that might be the 00 of Scott Foster. They were having some problems with that car in practice here today, trying to shake it down and get the bugs out of it as well. So if it does not make it out in time, we will get things kicked off again.
I don't think it's going to make it out in time, as we'll go green this time by for Chris Buffoni. And the rest of the field lined up behind him, including Tom Fern, Chris Meyer. Green flag, 8 laps the distance in heat race number 1 for the late models.
Buffoni does a great job in a power shift to pull away from Tom Fern. And that's not easy on a start here at Stafford, but Buffoni leads him down the back straightaway. Bid is all ready for that 3rd position. Adam Gray, who was a sleeper in the first half of the year and then became a tiger in the second half of the season, he's now sitting in the 3rd spot. but challenging. The big mover this year, Chris Myers. Myers, so confident about his car, Kyle, and he's looking and putting that confidence to work.
Meyer to the inside as they make their way into turn number 3 of Gray in the 97 as the top two try to drive away. Buffoni, the race leader, Fern in second as the top 6 cars all grouped tightly together in turn number 2. Battle for third. Meyer out of shape will give up that spot to Gray as now Fern to the inside of Buffoni. At least has a look.
And they are single file, bumper to bumper. Buffoni doing a great job of holding off one of the great drivers in this division, Tom Fern. Fern, who's had a roller coaster season of his own. His rival right there is Adam Gray in his dad's car, sitting in the 3rd spot. Myers is still there, halfway down, halfway to go. Then just as strong and moving in, all of a sudden is Darrell Keene with car number 79.
Rounds out the top 5 in that car as they remain in single file formation off of turn number 2. Good race for second up the backstretch.
And it is a strong bid. Here comes Gray. Bottom shot move. Fern digs in on the outside. Black car versus orange. They come off the turn. Guess what? Gray has now moved into second. He isn't done yet, but the clock is ticking. We're coming down to the end of this one. Here comes Gray, all over Buffoni. Looks to the bottom. Gray dives to the inside. Buffoni shuts the door, and here comes Meyer. Meyer with the number 87 car. Back up front, Kyle. We've got a lead change.
2 laps to go and a new race leader by the time they get to the corner. Adam Gray sticks his car to the inside of the racetrack and takes the top spot. Chris Buffoni back to second, maybe third by the time they get to turn 3. Meyer to the bottom in that green and white number 87, now up to the 2nd spot with 1 lap to go.
Final circuit in this one, Tom Fern. He gets shuffled back to position number 5. He needs to finish in the top 6. His car suddenly gets a little bit loose. Back to the front of the class, Adam Gray, showing it was no fluke that he was the big dog.
Oh, Tom Fern gets turned in turn number 4 in the 92. As the checkered comes out, Adam Gray will pick up the win over Chris Meyer. Chris Buffoni, Bobby Sturck, who was just behind Fern over in turn 3. It looked like it was Sturck that made contact, and Aiden Burrell to round out the top 5.
Certainly was. And we want to mention also that it appeared that one car did not have its transponder working, which is how they do timing and scoring.
That's Darrell
That is
Keene.
a Darrell Keene machine. So we believe that car made it in the transfer position. Heartbreaker for Tom Fern. At this time, I would like the individuals associated with the Maybury parade lap, the drivers to report to their vehicles for the parade lap, because your portion of the program will be coming up before the first feature event of the night. So Maybury associate drivers, please head to your vehicles at this time, please. Kyle, round number 2.
Round number 2 on the racetrack as they make their way onto the speedway in turn 3, and onto the pole will be car number 12 from Hampton, Massachusetts. Safeco Foam providing the sponsorship for our pole sitter, Alexandra Fern.
Springfield Thunderbirds car number 10 is next on the grid. That's from Fairfield, Connecticut for Wayne Corey Jr.
Third starter, car 43 from Chicopee, Massachusetts. The Dazed Cannabis entry for Andrew Durand.
He was one of our featured drivers in the opening, driving the Square Peg Pizzeria machine. He says he's hungry. He wants to be in victory lane after a great run a week ago. From Stafford Springs, Connecticut, car 4, Tommy Butler.
Car number 23 goes next from Ellington, Connecticut, the Levine Law sponsored car for Kevin Gambacorta.
This guy has been very impressive. The Tavern on the Tracks machine, car number 39 from Berlin, Connecticut for Paul Verrecchio Jr.
As we're watching an issue for Andrew Durand, who just lost a tire on the speedway on this first pace lap before the heat race goes green, so it doesn't look like Durand will be starting this qualifying event, and in fact we'll need some assistance back to the infield before we go onto the green as we continue with the starting lineup. Starting in the 7th spot, car number 19 from Morris, Connecticut, the Litchfield County Marine sponsored car for a second consecutive week, PJ Zarella behind the wheel of the 19.
And now we welcome back the Safeco Foam driver. Stu Fern owns the automobile from Hamden, Connecticut. He set out most of the season. Nice Nice to see him back. It is Ryan Fern.
And we're going to take a look at it, the replay of the incident from the last lap of the last heat race with Stirk in the 9 to the inside of the 92 of Tom Fern. They were battling for the 5th spot at the time, and around goes Fern on the final lap of the opening qualifying heat race for the late models just a few minutes ago.
Well, that's a tough break for him, as we all know. Again, please, the individuals that are part of the Maybury Material Handling parade lap, please report immediately to your vehicles that are located, I believe, behind the barriers on the backstretch.
Going to be another couple of laps before we go under the green flag as the 43 continues to get some assistance down to the infield portion of turn number 1. A lot of kids taking part and spinning the wheel, getting their back to school item down at the Maybury tent behind the grandstand off of turn number 4. And also the Springfield Thunderbirds display off of turn number 4. Their bus is set up. A lot of information about the Springfield Thunderbirds off of turn number 4, so be sure to check out their display. We saw the mascot Boomer,
yes,
making the rounds just a few moments ago, and we also just got word that Bobby Stirk was black flagged for that incident just a few moments ago when he came into contact with Tom Fern. As the field gets the 1-to-go signal.
And they are doubling the field up. A heartbreaker for Bam Bam, Andrew Duran, who's apparently something either broke or wasn't tightened properly on the left front wheel. And you can see, you saw the damage up on the big screen as well. So again, we are ready to get things fired up again. And we are set to go racing. Lights are off on the safety vehicle as they head into turn number 3. If you just joined us, on behalf of Maybury Associates, welcome to the show. We're in the midst of late model qualifying. SK Modifieds are up next.
Green flag is up. Alexandra Fern will bring the field into turn number 1 for the first time, as has Corey to her outside as they go side by side off of turn 2 and up the back straightaway. Alexandra will pull away. Now Butler, who finished runner-up in last week's first feature event, car number 4, longtime competitor here at the racetrack, challenges for the second spot in that green machine.
He was very confident from the minute he arrived here in the paddock area to his pre-race interview. He felt he has a car that could win here tonight. He quickly moves into second. Meanwhile, down the back straightaway, Paul Verrecchio. Keep your eyes on car number 39. He has been so strong this season, consistently now in the 4th position as Gamba Corda, the big dog in this class, sets back in position number 5. 6 is where you need to be.
Battle for the lead off turn 2. Butler has closed the gap on car number 12, Alexandra Fern. Fern and Butler, 1 and 2 as they come off of turn 4 to complete lap number 3 here in this late model heat race.
Door opens on the inside. Butler sinks it in at a ton. Alexander Fern digging hard in the upper lane. It is Butler who takes over the lead. Here comes Wayne Corey Jr. You leave the door open and another stranger will come in, and that is Wayne Corey. Behind him is Verrecchio. Fern tries to get back to the bottom, but here comes Gamba Corda. In a matter of a turn and a half, things drastically changed, but Butler is the leader. He clicked off the quickest lap so far.
Now Fern stuck in that outside lane, gets back into the line in 5th, the back of that lead pack as they come off of turn 4. Fern wasn't even born when Tom Butler started winning races here in this division in the late models back in the early 90s. That's how long Tom has been competing here at the racetrack. He looked good last week, looks great here tonight as we are just past halfway in this qualifying event. Good battle for second. Here's Verrecchio to the inside of Corey.
Verrecchio just pulled off a move that shows he is a serious contender. And guess who follows him through? One of the great veterans in this division. That, of course, is Kevin Gamba Corda. Gamba Corda moves into the 3rd spot. Down the back straightaway, Butler strings it out. Margin between 1st and 2nd, 7/10. Closing it up. White flag is out. 1 lap to go.
Final trip around for Tom Butler in this qualifying event. Verrecchio faster on the racetrack, but may run out of time in 2nd in car 39. Kevin Gambacorta, third, the championship point leader. Right now running unchallenged in that spot as he'll come to the checker.
Off turn number 4, Butler has got a victory. Verrecchio moved in. He'll finish in second. Kevin Gambacorta, the champ, will finish in third. Wayne Corey Jr. will finish in fourth. Alexander Fern in fifth. PJ Zarella is sixth. And of course, the casualty before the green was Andrew Duran, losing the left front tire on his machine. So qualifying is all but history. And next, Kyle Rickey, we move to the fastest division of the night.
And the SK Modifieds.
Yep, the division that everybody talks about no matter where you go. And tonight will be no exception to the rule, because round number 1 starting lineup is going to look like this. It will be as follows. Car number 16 will be starting at the point. They had an ignition problem a week ago with a simple toggle switch that costs about $2, but it kept them out of qualifying. The steer right tire and auto machine from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts. It is Dylan Kopech.
Isn't that the way it always is? That $2 part for Kopech a week ago to his outside on the front row. Car number 82 from Wolcott, Connecticut. New England Turf, Eastport Feeds, PT Watts. The sponsors for Michael Christopher Jr.
Let's take a look at row number 2, Mr. Consistency, driving the Tick Mike Petty Cash Motorsports machine. From Shelton, Connecticut, car number 85 for Andrew Moeller.
Car number 76 will go next, coming off a good run a week ago. Has been driving this car much of the season, the Bowles Chrysler Dodge Jeep entry for Austin Beers.
Starting in the 5th starting position is car number 14. That's the Chapman Apartment Homes machine. My Three Sons Racing from Ellington, Connecticut. This guy's a front runner, Stephen Chapman.
Last week's winner will start from the 6th spot. In fact, it was his 3rd win of the year for car number 3 from Oxford, Massachusetts, the Casella Waste Systems entry for Troy Talman.
Let's take a look at the final row. Car number 96, Brainerd Motorsports machine from Canton, Connecticut. It is Kurt Brainerd.
And scheduled to start in the 8th spot, car number 63 from Waterbury, Connecticut, the D&D racing car for David Flamia Jr.
Well, while we're waiting and preparing the racing surface, we want to give a very special shout out to a gentleman who retired today from 47 years of public service. That is Ronnie Bamforth, who has been the crew chief with Tommy Bowles, Bruce D'Alessandro, the Start-Finish Motorsports people over the years. And today, his 2 children came up to be a surprise for him. So we wish him well in his new retirement. Ron Bamforth, from all of the folks from 76, the Bowles Racing Team.
Field rolling out onto the racetrack as the caution flag is out. They'll take a couple of pace laps before getting the green flag. Been a busy week here at the racetrack, Ben. Wrapped up the weekday portion of Wild Thing Karts, and we had to do it on Tuesday night.
And we had a lot of new winners. That was the big story.
Including Tommy Foster, who picked up a race win in the Junior Outlaws.
Jay Sullivan was a big winner. And Mason Summers and a whole bunch of other individuals. And we're very happy to see them finally get another race in. Mother Nature was not kind on Monday nights at all. And they still got one more to go, don't they?
They do. Their championship event on Sunday, September 8th. I'm looking down in the grandstands now, and I see a lot of our Monday night competitors. Colton Gambacorta, Alex Downey, Allison McCusker, all down in the stands here in front of us. Good to see the youngsters here on Friday nights.
And they are great individuals. We've already got a black flag being given, we believe. It is for the 35 car. And that, of course, yes, the 35 is down on pit road. And it received the flag. We're not sure what that was all about, but there was some smoke that was puffing from beneath that car as well.
I'm not sure he's supposed to be out there, but
and there you can see the smoke
except for
there.
the light feature here in a bit from Morrison.
Yeah, and apparently there is an excessive amount of smoke coming from underneath the hood, so that's not a good indication at all whatsoever. And perhaps it was just doing a shakedown.
Let's check in with Dave Barabal.
Well, guys, what you missed when that car went down the backstretch, it was more than a little puff of smoke. He was smoking all the way down the backstretch. As you can see, the track crew working right by the FloRacing sign. That's where that started up, so perhaps some oil being dropped on the backstretch.
Well, that's going to be a real heartbreaker. The Morrison camp has done exceptionally well, improving each and every time out. And Kyle, it is not the type of lead-in that we wanted, but Morrison is another one of those individuals that came from Monday Night Karts.
Yeah, it was just a couple of years ago. He was competing each and every week. Made the move about a year or so ago, the start of last season, into the SK Light Modifieds. It's been improving just about each and every week. In fact, he was on the podium just a couple of weeks ago, getting his best finish in an SK Light Modified, but finds himself on pit road. I think he was on the racetrack just checking things over before the first feature, and obviously they have some work to do before that first feature here. Not too far from now, once we get through the SK Modified heat races, we're pretty much going to go into their very first feature event, the weather-affected event from about a month ago. And then we'll have our kids' big wheel races, and a lot of those kids beginning the check-in process down on the midway.
And, of course, if you haven't done so, it's not too late, but time is starting to run out rather quickly. And we can see there is a bunch of youngsters that are down there having the time of their life. And this is all brought to you by the folks from Maybury Material Handling Back to School Kids Night, a tradition here at the Root family's Stafford Motor Speedway. And, of course, you know that the Root family loves kids, loves our younger race fans, and of course, this is a big night for everybody that is part of what we call Team Stafford. Well, it looks like they're still working a bit on the backstretch, the Monaco.
It'll be another lap or two.
And
so we're going to have to clean things up from the Morrison car, it looks like.
And Dave Barabal called it exactly right, because underneath the FloRacing billboard in the backstretch is where the smoke erupted, that Dave said. And then from that point on, you can see that there evidently was a line of fluid that came from beneath the Morrison race car. Tough break for him as well. And following the conclusion of our 3 qualifying heats for the SKs, this is round number 1, that we will commence with the pre-race festivities and, of course, our Maybury Associates parade lap. And then we will move on to feature event number 1.
Don't forget, next week here at the racetrack, we kick off the month of September with the Paradiso Insurance 50-lapper for the late model stock cars, their longest and most prestigious event of the season. That is next Friday night for the late models. And then in 2 weeks, the TC13 First Responders Night here.
Oh, and that's a biggie.
On Friday, September 13th. And it's going to be a big night. Always a full midway. A lot of the fire trucks from a lot of the neighboring departments and safety vehicles are here on the midway. And the kids, I know when I was a youngster, fascinated by those trucks.
Absolutely.
And they've only gotten bigger since then. So they're fun to look at. Part of the First Responders Night in a couple of weeks. And, of course, also the TC13 that night. And if you want to be a part of that event and part of the purse, you can contact the Speedway here at the racetrack. And love to have you.
We still got some more events after that. The Spear Bros Kids Night on September 20th, and Stafford's weekly racing comes to a conclusion September 27th, Kyle.
Well, then we get into
and then we get off one more time.
The Napa Fall Final on September 28th, and the Napa Championship Night on October 4th. So still a lot of racing to go here in 2024. The field looks like we're ready to go. Heat race number 1 for the SK Modifieds.
Here they come, 2x2 and side by side. Fastest division of the night. Stafford's own SK Modifieds rumbles off turn number 4. Evenly matched. Michael Christopher, black car on the top side of the racetrack. Kopech to the inside. 2 second-generation drivers duking it out in the front row. Same can be said of row number 2. Kyle, it looks like Kopech's got it by inches off turn 4.
Not by much for second as well, with Kopech at the line by a half a car length over Christopher. Then Moeller and Beers getting at it hot and heavy for third. Moeller will clear Beers, who slips up in the outside lane. Christopher all over the back bumper of Kopech for the race lead.
While Christopher's working the back bumper, Moeller sees daylight. He tucks the 85, to the inside. Meanwhile, directly behind him, Chapman is there. Austin Beers is in there as well. Down the back straightaway, also moving in and looking racy is car number 3, last week's feature event winner, Talman, threading the needle, forcing Austin Beers back a spot.
Mike Christopher Jr., meanwhile, goes to the race lead, but drifts up the racetrack off turn 4. Door reopened for Kopech, who goes back to the bottom. All of this just in front of point leader Andrew Moeller in car number 85, as Kopech back to the bottom. 4 down, 4 to go. We are halfway home in this opening qualifying event.
Moeller's trying to pick the right lane, pick and choose time. It is Dylan Kopech digging hard on the bottom. Down the back straightaway, Michael Christopher strings it out. Deep into turn number 3. Who'll get back on the gas the quickest? It is Christopher, but here comes Kopech.
Digging hard in the outside lane. Mike Christopher Jr. trying to keep that momentum wound up, and he's out front by a half a car length, now a full car length as they hit the back straightaway. Kopech in second. Moeller under fire from another recent winner in this division, Stephen Chapman in car number 14.
Stephen Chapman trying to get down underneath Moeller. Talman is right there next. This is just a sneak preview of what the SK Modifieds do and what you can anticipate in the main event for tonight's SK Modifieds. Off turn number 4, Michael Christopher. Oh, Talman's car loosens up Austin Beers. Glued to the back bumper. Here comes Beers to dive down low underneath Talman. That's the battle for the 5th spot.
Into the final lap, Beers to the inside, Talman topside, race for 4th. Up front, though, it is all Mike Christopher Jr., car number 82. Comes off of turn number 4, sees the checkered flag and the win here in SK Modified qualifying race number 1 over Dylan Kopech in second, Andrew Moeller in third, Stephen Chapman 4th, and Troy Talman to round out the front 5.
Missing the handicap, Austin Beers will finish in 6th. Kurt Brainerd will finish in 7th. David Flamia Jr. will round out the top 8. That's our first qualifying round of 3. Round number 2 will be coming up next. And, you know, it's that time, Kyle. You know what time it is?
Yeah, the Facebook stream about to conclude along with our YouTube live stream. So thanks to everyone for joining us on some of our social media platforms and our live preview. But from here on out, exclusive coverage can be seen on FloRacing.com for the remainder of these qualifying events. And